The Honourable Shane Jones.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Sir, a little bit of whakapapa, kinship, which eclipses political affiliation, caused me to be over there for a mercifully short period of time, sir.
I'm sure.
So I stand to provide a little bit of background and history in respect of this bill. It's important that we think back to the efforts, right back to the Waipetu Marae, sir, where in the 1980s the original kohanga reo was established. And then, sir, there was a push to achieve recognition in the time of the Honourable Koro Wetere for Te Reo Māori. And so that led to, well, unlike the current minister, a great man. So then that led to the Te Reo being regarded as a taonga, as a manatunga. And that led, sir, to the Māori Language Commission being formed and a host of other bodies. Now, Māori TV, sir, has had a rather checkered history, but we stand quite staunch in promoting it as an institution that plays a key role, sir, in the revival and the dissemination of our language, usages and customs that are often regarded as following in the wake of language development. But, sir, it relies now on modern technology. Modern technology that the current minister, in his dealings with Amy Adams, I am talking Spectrum, which is now the new highway, sir, that the current activists and future users of the language should look to. And it's a shame, sir, the minister has failed miserably. Never have we seen, sir, a worse outcome for language activists. Indeed, only on the Maori TV tonight, sir, Piripi Walker, one of the key members of Ngā Kaihaka Pūmo, those who seek to provide permanent status of the language, he was very diplomatic, a little bit like myself. He didn't quite say in candid terms that the minister has been asleep, not at the wheel, but at the helm, at the prow, in the puku, climbing up the sail of this waka. And, Minister, I say to you that this is a piffling contribution. On the day, sir, this bill goes through, he has been told to keep quiet, sir, accept this modest improvement whilst spectrum rights have been denied to the treaty partner. Now, sir, a government is entitled to treat how they like an iwi, but the Māori Party is not entitled, sir, to diminish, to destroy or betray the dreams of the Māori people. And that's what's happened today, sir. That's why, although we stand and we see some modest improvements associated with this bill, it's a very bleak day, and it comes down to the quality of advocacy. Now, so I've had my differences with earlier ministers of Māori affairs. I had my differences at one stage, sir, when a former minister, Tau Henare, decided to appoint Joe Williams, who had been a lawyer and a judge of the Māori Land Court as a consequence of intervention, a very bright guy, sir, but we were often at odds with each other about the iwi thesis. But that was a minister who showed courage and boldness. This has been around for so long, sir. Members of the Māori media community, iwi, have lost sight of where these improvements actually came from. But they, sir, are emblematic of the very lacklustre, tired and largely irrelevant contributions that the minister has made. And it's like, sir, keeping a rugby player that has faded to a point better beyond the bench permanently. Now, sir, I had my misgivings, sir, about the Māori Electoral College. We had discussions on our side of the House, and the sense was allow the college to refine its processes and improve its own set of accountabilities. But, sir, a number of the organisations there I've referred to as waka kiho, which means in the Māori way of saying in English, the ghost ships. We need to be absolutely sure, because of the value of the taonga and the capacity being transmitted, that they do not decide to follow some whim of the Māori Party and promise to 72 iwis they can all have their own radio station, an absurd idea, or their own TV station. Sir, this requires bulking up the resource, bulking up the talent, not atomising effort. And I think it's very, very sad, sir, that on this particular day that Māori TV are covering, and Te Karere, evidence of the abject failure of the current minister and his colleagues to have an inch of influence. Sir, with the Dowager of Te Waipounamu, otherwise known as the Minister of Broadcasting. And if there was ever, sir, evidence, sir, where the power imbalance lies here, Māoridom have had it shown to them today. Now, so unfortunately, I haven't got time to digress into the inordinately large consultancy fees associated with the TPK report, some related to the bill, because it says strategic advice, but rest assured, sir, scores of official information questions are being composed as we speak to seek justification why the minister has been unable to attract enough talent into that particular organisation, and, sir, has that caused a delay in this bill being at the point it is. Now, sir, there were earlier reports lying behind this bill. One was called the Maori word for the Southern Cross, Te Mahu Tonga. Te Mahu Tonga. Well, sir, I think the Mahu Tonga, the Southern Cross, a key feature of navigation, needed to be imprinted in the minister's mind so he had a sense how to navigate progress. Not go around in circles, not give in so easily, and not be forced to back down whilst talking tough to the hapu and the iwi. Now, sir, these might sound rather jarring remarks, but this is a robust house. And, sir, it's the highest court in the land, and we're drawing to an end. And I think it's important that our people, as they watch an improved version of Māori TV over the Christmas holidays, contemplate the need and the importance for the minister receiving a very sharp reminder of his total irrelevance to the behaviour and the conduct of where the power is, not with the Māori Party. So I need to come back and talk a wee bit more about the dramas around the Chief Executive Officer. At the end of the day, the board appoints their own Chief Executive Officer. And I hope that, sir, they reach a decision with alacrity, but it has been very disturbing to learn that the former minister, Honourable Georgina Te Heuheu, put herself in a position which was very, very awkward, supporting a candidate who left apparently, I have no evidence of this, but apparently under a cloud from Television One. But all of it, sir, only goes to damage the perception, initiated, I must confess, by the very idle approach shown by the minister towards Māori broadcasting. So when Korowetere, Parekura Horomia were around, they had dramatic support from the highest levels of government. And indeed, I would say, sir, even in the time with Winston Peters and Tau Henare, they had their differences. That's cool. I occasionally have my own differences with some of my colleagues. That's the part of being Maori in Parliament. It's exaggerated by the media. It occasionally happens with the Greens, and I wear that often as a badge of honour, but that's another matter. So, sir, I would say, sir, that this bill, whilst it collects our support, it shows too little has been done. If you want Maori communities to improve the quality of language, the frequency of language, and broaden the language out so we overcome the cringe factor with our Pākehā cousins in Aotearoa and other ethnic groups, it needs leadership. And unfortunately, the Minister of Māori Affairs for the last 5 to 6 years, intolerably long, has provided hopeless leadership. Now, it's one thing to be a good, hail fellow, well-met sort of character, but when you're dealing with powerful personalities, as is the case in the National Cabinet, there's no place, sir, for the old figure, i.e. of the 1950s, Pai Kori, it'll be right. That, sir, belongs in the past. And the quality of advocacy that has caused the collapse of Māori aspirations today in relation to spectrum rights, which there are spectrum rights, it's I mean, most certainly are. Indeed, Labour went some way to recognising an entitlement there and made a grant to shunt forward Māori participation in the new emerging ICT sector. Now, sir, it's important that we not overlook that the value of the language eclipses the efforts of politicians. Unfortunately, the language will live on in spite of the miserable efforts of the current minister. Now, that's cool, that's politics, etc., and that will change next year. But Māori TV, sir, have a bright future. Their future, however, depends on their board of governors choosing the right CEO and Te Pūtahi Pāho, the Waka Kiho, the ghost ship, ensuring that this capacity in Tonga is used to achieve the ends of the legislation, sir, which is to popularise the language throughout New Zealand as an ongoing feature of our Indigenous identity and a contribution to multicultural New Zealand. Kia ora tātou katoa.
Ko the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.